chess fans, welcome to 101 Ways to Win or Lose a Game of Chess. I am your host, Onyx Chess. Today we're going to look at the issue of cheating in online chess. Now, more specifically, we're not going to look at the cheating itself. We're going to look at the suspicion it causes, and we're going to examine exactly how much damage that suspicion is actually doing. We're going to set out to prove that there's actually something we can do to mitigate the amount of cheaters out there, and it's not really on the reactive end in terms of identifying them and banning them, but more so on the proactive end. There are most definitely steps that we are taking to encourage more cheating, and there are definitely steps that we can employ to mitigate a great number of cheaters that otherwise wouldn't be cheating if not for the influence of suspicion. Let's take a look at this a little bit. Back when Reddit first began, there was a post about cheating, and it was a bunch of confessed cheaters that came forward to say, okay, here's the reason I cheat. Now, a small percentage were actually, I think psychopathic, and they just like to, stomp on ants all day long, whatever. Just a feeling of dominating people and so on. But for the most part, there was definitely a majority of them that were all about the suspicion. That's to say that they at least claimed, and certainly in a large amount of them, it must have been true, that, look, I felt everybody else was using an engine, so I used one too. What's the big deal? Everyone's using it, I just took my turn. What's the big deal? Everyone's using an engine, I just wanted to find out how many there were out there. I just wanted to defend myself from them. If I feel, they're playing a little too strong, hey, fire out a few engine moves and see if the evaluation changes. The issue with this is, of course, again, a large amount of people were reporting an addictive kind of a feeling to the engine lines. That after a while, they'd become dependent on it. After a while, they couldn't do without it. After a while, they started inserting some of its suggestions in their moves proactively. Convincing themselves however they needed to. Oh, if I play engine moves long enough, I'll be able to play like a computer myself, or if I that kind of thing. Just justifications. But the fact is that it got addictive for them. That's the fact. Nothing's changed. Even here in a cursory glance, we're already finding the exact same kinds of testimonies here in 2019. I used to cheat in almost every game I played. As soon as I started losing a game, I would convince myself that my opponent was cheating, and I would start cheating too. Same thing in our own forums here just the other day. I first started using assistants when I thought someone else was using an engine against me. Same thing. Exact same story, exact same everything. That synapse of suspicion is important. That idea is very important. It can't be looked over. It can't be just, ignored. No, that's important. Now, certainly some of these people are just using this as an excuse, and they certainly would have cheated anyway, but I don't believe that that's in any kind of a great majority. In fact, we don't even have to look at that angle. We can look at the post from 6 months ago. I couldn't find it, but a guy was like, hey, how do people cheat? What are you talking about? Do they get like chips or something? What do you mean they cheat online? How can you possibly cheat on chess? You can't cheat in chess. He wasn't being facetious. He just never thought about it. Just never gave it any thought. So right there, that guy, we know in that variation would never, ever, ever be a cheater. But start convincing him that he's surrounded with cheaters, and you might see a different effect. You might see him say, hey, why don't I just go ahead and fire up an engine just to protect myself, just to see how many are out there who are actually out there. Understand? So it's always better to have less suspicion. Always. In every variation, it's better to mitigate the suspicion, because suspicion absolutely causes cheaters where there otherwise would have been none. And of course, cheaters cause suspicion, which causes more cheaters as well. So we can see how this is an exponential problem. Very simple, very straightforward. No, we're not going to look so much at how do you tell a cheater from a legitimate player online. That's a redundant conversation, and it's not an either or. We've had plenty of that. Now we're going to look at some proactive measures that will actually help mitigate this problem to its barest necessary minimum, which is just the psychopaths, which can't be dissuaded from cheating one way or another, no matter what we do or don't, uh, say, Suspicion causes cheating. So even on its face, just the fact that it absolutely causes cheating makes this pretty much open shut. But the thing is there's also so much more to this as well. I've never had a good game after suspecting somebody of cheating, ever. Like, when I suspect someone of cheating, I play different. I'm like, I gotta play positional now because I'm probably up against an engine. This is gonna be a grind, and he sees everything. So no matter what plan I do, it's all and you get confused, and just that suspicion alone has destroyed I don't know how many chess games that I've played. It's cost me I don't know how many points. Just that suspicion alone. Not to mention, now you're looking at your fellow chess comrade and looking at them a kind of way. You understand? I had a fantastic game just the other day. I left G and H pawn rollers to come storm down the right side of the board and conquer me. And somehow, with some thought and some effort and maybe a little bit of luck, I turned that game around and actually won it. And my opponent, came storming into the chat with, all kinds of cheat accusations. And it really spoiled what should have been a celebration. If the guy was a good sport and not suspicious, it would have been a laughing matter often, where it's like, oh man, I had you there, but man, you were a resourceful guy. Like, wow. Instead of that, what did I get? You cheater, yeah. I'm gonna report you, yeah. I said, man, I'd love you to report me. More people should see his game. I like how I came back, man. It's a lesson in resilience, and ingenuity. It was a good game, but point is, it should have been celebrated, and it wasn't. So all of that purchase, all of that social capital that would have been established between me and that guy, win, lose, or draw, is gone. It's out the window. Thanks to what? Cheating? No. The suspicion. Thanks to the suspicion that cheating causes. You understand? Big deal. Worthy of understanding. In fact, we can do a simple thought experiment. If everybody tonight quit cheating and tomorrow never ever cheated again, what would happen? We'd still have cheating. Because tomorrow people would wake up suspicious because they didn't get the memo, of course, that everybody has quit cheating. And they'd be thinking, once again, maybe I need an engine just to see, how many are actually out there. Maybe I need an engine just to, defend myself. Understand? And just like that, the problem would resume itself. Just like with those candles that you can't blow out. And they keep reigniting. This here, in and of itself, again, amplifies what? Cheating, yeah, ultimately it's the cause of the initial suspicion. But once that suspicion ball gets rolling, apparently that's all that's needed to make everything completely terrible. Where people are supposed to be celebrating games, they're not. Where people are supposed to be playing honestly, they're not. They're cheating. Where people think of chess, on online chess, as a whole, and they say, you know what? I could go fishing or play some chess today. Maybe I'll go fishing. Suspicion. That's all that's needed there. And on top of it, what do we say? The cheaters create the suspicion, and the suspicion creates the cheaters. Suspicion, man. That needs to be carefully managed. We should be very much so minding our speech and minding how we present the issue to especially newcomers to the community. Suspicion needs to be mitigated, never exaggerated. As for the well-wishers that regularly take to the forums to announce the issue of cheating, I know you guys mean well. That's very clear. You guys have good intentions. No question. You want to help. You're doing your best. No question. But look at the logic here. In prime time, it's about between 6 and 14,000 people for I don't know how long that spans like that. But it could be in and around 75,000, 100,000 people, different people that are playing games on Lichess every single day. in most forums, we've noticed that not more than 100 or 200 actually view most posts. So that's literally a fraction of 1% of the people that play chess visiting the forums to see your laundry list of things that people do that might indicate that they might be cheating. Now, on the other hand, there's two kinds of cheaters out there in terms of the ones that don't care if they're caught or not, do nothing to hide themselves, do nothing to try to get away with anything. They're just going to cheat and that's it. And when they get caught, they're caught. Off the chess.com to go. All right. But there's another kind that want to hide a little bit. Now, these kind here absolutely head to the forums to search matters of cheat detection so that they can be a little bit more efficient with what they think is their craft. So, who are you helping? That's my question. Even if 100% of the people visiting those forums were taking up all of this advice, and I use that word very loosely, it's not really advisable, because at the same time that they're learning to look for, evenly spaced moves and people that take too long to think and people that take too short to think and people that move too good and people that don't move good but then they do and people that do and then they don't, and the rest of this insane list of paranoia, they're also taking on what? Suspicion. Absolutely. What do we know about suspicion? What do we know is a fact about suspicion? We know as a fact that suspicion causes cheating where there otherwise would be none. That's what we know about cheating for sure. So, once again, it doesn't even matter who you're talking to or how many of them there are. In all variation, it makes no sense whatsoever to come write a post like this. It does absolute damage. I can prove that. It's not as if this, thanks to this list now, the wonderful anti-cheat division at Lichess has now caught 1,000 cheaters that they otherwise wouldn't have. This is not it. That's not it. But now they're going to have to catch 1,000 more thanks to this post. You understand? It's very tricky. And again, I don't blame anybody. It's an insidious issue. It's a counterintuitive, insidious, ironic issue, deep-seated, matters of psychology and logic and everything else. It's not obvious, and I get how everybody just wants to help. They see it as a problem. They want it to go away, so they discuss it. They bring it in the open, and in most cases, that's exactly how you solve an issue. That's exactly what you do. But this is just the one exception to that rule, where it's not even non-productive, it's literally counterproductive, you see. And speaking about suspicion in terms of damage, when somebody plays 50 games, of which they're certain 49 were not suspicious, and then they, report that one game that was a little off, and they get that message back from the admins, yep, somebody you reported was banned, here's a points back, thanks for the help, blah blah blah. That's a very measured amount of suspicion. Then you have that kind of empirical understanding that, okay, I get to play a whole lot of chess before I find one dingbat who wants to feign as though he's got an intellect functioning behind his eyeballs. Okay, you're cool with that. I mean, at least I know I am. At 1900 classical time controls, I know it's so few cheaters out there. I'm saying 1 in 50. It's got to be somewhere very, very close to that. All right, not a big deal. I'll give that up for the privilege to play chess online anytime, anywhere, on my phone, home PC, anything. Wow, no problem. That's not a problem in my eye. All right, but look at in terms of the damage. Now, I know it's 1 in 50. I know that cheater got caught, and I'm on my way. See, when we think about suspicion as doing damage, then all of these posts that deal with the subject matter are literally doing the same amount of damage in terms of suspicion as the guy I played and the actual cheater. You understand? So if 200 people view this thread, you've now got 200 instances of damage, of suspicion damage, just out of thin air. Just literally somebody typed in cheat, hit enter, boom. There is now that much more of this suspicious pollution in the atmosphere to affect everybody. To where instead of having good games, people are cussing each other at the end of what should have been perfectly good games. He didn't cheat. He didn't cheat. Why aren't they shaking hands and having a laugh and a beer? But no, now they're at each other's throats because what? These posts do that. This is as though everybody had been cheated on. 200, however many people viewed this topic, that's how many people may as well have had been cheated on in terms of raising and elevating the amount of suspicion. Damage, aka damage, you understand? Real. Very, very real. It can't be talked around. You can't move this one. This is an immovable logic. It can't be mitigated at all. Good thing cheating can, by not, you understand, exaggerating the issue, you see. You know, even if that list was perfectly accurate and these were all very good indicators for catching cheaters, we'd still have to ask the wisdom of it. I mean, all of them pretty much happen in one game or another. I can't see a game going by with at least two, of these on these lists happening at some point in the game. So this is completely part and parcel with producing suspicion. I really want to be clear on that. Because if somebody takes this list seriously and believes to themselves, if I can look for these things and the next 15, 20, 25 things that people say to look out for, I can be a productive part of the Lichess anti-cheat division. I can help, put some of these bums out on the road where they belong. And that makes perfect sense. It really does. That makes good sense. But to send everybody who's coming from this forum into their next chess game, that's 100%. That's 100% suspicion rate. Everybody, every game is suspecting everybody. This is the exact opposite direction that we want to go. And once again, it's not as if this is some kind of a, big catalyst, as though now, well, thanks for the post. Now we can, go ahead and get rid of thousands more cheaters that we otherwise wouldn't have, you see. So, yeah, I think that's the point. The cost benefit, even the benefit is negligible, but there's total cost, right? So, what could be some solutions then? Well, it's just a matter of focus. We really just want to focus our attention on mitigating the suspicion, and that's going to go a very, very, very long way. We're going to measure our speech. We're going to make sure that we're reassuring and encouraging our one another, especially the newcomers, and making sure that we're generally, keeping a healthy, energetic kind of an environment going on. And there's no reason why we can't use this same echo chamber that we've been using to inadvertently create cheaters, to use that same echo chamber to absolutely annihilate this culture of suspicion and all of the many, many, many ways that it damages the online chess experience as a whole. A second solution might be that, those of us in the know just go ahead and say, good game, go ahead and say handshake or have fun, whatever, before the game. We'll call it a handshake. Just like in the olden days, that was all about what? Open hands. I'm hiding nothing, nothing untoward's going on here. I extend you an open hand in good sportsmanship, and we're just a couple, chess enthusiasts trying to enjoy a chess game here. You don't have to worry with me. Here's the code, secret handshake. And, let's let that as well just lessen the suspicion a little more. Anything we can do to mitigate suspicion is in our interest. And it's also the only thing we can really manage, ultimately, because it's a dependent variable. Psychopaths that are going to, cheat no matter what, that's an independent variable. No matter what we do, the cycle is gonna, mistreat people. That's just how they operate. But as far as this one goes here, no, this is dependent. We've been creating cheaters, and it's time we uncreate them, and it can be done. And that's what this has been about, and that's what it's all about. This has been Onyx Chess. Thank you for stopping in, and may your pieces find the very best squares.